Walk us through the day that you were put in handcuffs.
I remember we went to Atlanta. I was shutting my house down in Atlanta. I was having my brother show up. Me and Jesse went up the night before, and my brother was going to show up. I was going to get a U-Haul. I was giving him all my furniture in this house, everything else. I was getting rid of the house. I'm like, fuck it, I'm done. I don't need all this overhead. Shit's getting bad. I'm selling. I'm getting everything, leases, house, everything that I own and lease that wasn't here in Vero. I wanted it gone. I wanted all my overhead gone because I was liquidating because I didn't want to waste. I had no money coming in, so I don't want to spend no money. So I'll never forget. We woke up that morning, me and Jesse, the night before, took everything apart and had it all ready to go. So we slept on mattresses on the floor. And I remember pulling out, and I didn't recognize the feds were sitting right there. I was in a culvert sack in this gated community, right? And he was sitting right there and didn't even fucking see him because I thought it was an extra neighbor's truck out there. He's sitting in the culvert sack. So we pull out, and I'm talking to Jesse. I'm looking at him. He's driving. I'm talking to him. And there's like, I'll never forget, these houses are on like pretty big, like yards, pretty big yards, probably quarter acre or bigger, you know, nice. They're set off the road a little ways. And this one had this huge hedge down the side of the driveway. And I just remember and looking at him talking. And there's this car like backed in the thing. And I just remember like sitting there talking to Jesse, like, yeah, man, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I just remember like catching something going like this. And I like looked and I just see this dude like, you know, like dancing, like, you know, I see like, he's like a deer in headlights. I see him. So I'm like, Jesse, I'm like, dude, something ain't right. And he's like, man, you're fucking tripping. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, we're being followed, dude. Like they're watching us. And he's like, no, you're not. So there's this gated community. You know how they got like guardhouse and then they have like, you can do a U-turn in case you pull in before them. So we like whip through the little thing. And then the car goes by. I'm like, see, dude, he's going by. And he's like, dude just acts normal, just drives on by. He's like, dude, that dude was just leaving this house and you're tripping. We pull out, dude. This car's doing a U-turn. I said, I fucking told you. So we didn't realize I had a tracking device on the car. So we shook his ass. We find another one. We shook his ass. We're shaking them all, dude. I mean, literally pulling e-brakes, reversing driveways. Dude, they're going by. We're sliding out, hitting back roads, like going through people's yards. And before we knew it, we could not shake them. So we already knew. We're like, we got a tracking device. There were 17 unmarked cars that morning. We pulled up to the U-Haul place. We finally gave up. We pulled up into the light. I swear to God. We already know what cars are what because we shook most of them, right? So one's in front of us, two's on one side, one's here, and they're acting normal. They're not looking at us, not even like nothing, dude. And we're looking at them like, yeah, we know. And dude, my stomach is in my throat. I'm just like, I'm sick. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. It's over with. Like, I know it's happening today. So we go to U-Haul place and I go in, we park, we walk in. And it's like this huge long like U-Hauls and then they like store like stuff. There was like almost like a storage unit, indoor storage unit and a U-Haul. Like they had U-Hauls there. And I remember going in, there was a long line and I get up there and they're like, we don't have no big U-Hauls. So I walk out. Then when I walk out, the sidewalk's down the front of it and Jesse's parked down there. So I make a left to walk to him and I see this person like dive out of the fucking windshield. They were like in the windshield of a car looking like this and they dive back. And I'm like, holy fuck, there's another one. It's a female. So I tell Jesse, I'm like, dude, this car down here. So then this pregnant white girl comes out. She was the one behind me in the line, walks out and goes and gets in that car. And I said, Jesse, the fucking pregnant girl's a DEA agent too.
She's in on it.
She's in on it. She's like 8 months pregnant. Like, I'm like, holy shit, dude. She was behind me in line while I was talking on the phone, telling somebody what's going on, listening to my whole conversation. I'm on a burner phone, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? This is crazy, dude. So we're just like, fuck this, dude. Like, let's just go back to the house and wait and just let it play out. They had a state trooper pull us over about a mile or two before we got to the house. And they held us there for like hours, tearing the car apart and everything else, questioning us. And finally, I'm on the phone with Brooke and I'm like, this is my attorney friend that's like the baddest attorney around. It's got my back for anything. She's only like, not even 30 at the time. Tiny little blonde. And I'm like, fucking Brooke, they got us, dude. I'm like, dude, there's so many of them. I can't even count all the fucking cars, dude. Like, it's over with. And she's like, fuck them fat pig motherfuckers. And she's like texting me, go fucking buy them some donuts. Tell them to go to the donut shop. Leave you the fuck alone. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, Brooke, they want to search the house. She goes, anything else? I said, nah, just fucking let them search it. So I'm like, okay. She said, well, you can search it. So they're like, okay, go. So we start going. I look behind us. Dude, there's 17 unmarked cars with the state trooper behind them. I take a video of this shit and I send it to her. I'm like, dude, look at this. I've never seen it. So we pull into the house. They search the whole house. The main agent sitting there on the phone helping us find a U-Haul, calling all them. We're all just kicked back, talking like normal, making us feel comfortable. Like, I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like, the agent's like, hold on, I know another place. And he's calling them, hey, y'all got a big U-Haul? You got a big U-Haul? And he's like, man, da-da-da. So then he's like, how the fuck did you know that we were trailing you? I said, Elvis over there, because he had these big Elvis chops. And they're like, oh, you fucking rookie. So they're like picking on him, cussing him. He's like, come on, man. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. I'm like, dude, we rode by. You're like, oh, there he is. Like, oh. And I'm like, dude, you gave it away. And then like the pregnant girl gave it away too.
Yeah.
So they're all laughing and they're like, oh, dude, everybody's good. And they're like, yeah, we're done searching, nothing here. And he's like, all right, we're out of here. So everybody walks out the door. The main agent walks out. He's like, hey, see y'all, have a good day. And I'm like, what the fuck? So the door closed and I look at Jesse. Jesse looks at me. He's like, the time we did that, the door opens back up. He's like, hey, we forgot one thing. And we're like, well, what's that? And he's like, y'all two, stand up. You're arrested for drug conspiracy, money laundering, for running some of the biggest things, blah, blah, blah. Put your hands behind your back. So he handcuffs me up front, handcuffs Jesse. As soon as he handcuffs Jesse, and Jesse takes the first thing, he passes out, like fucking goes out. And I'm like, I'm like, dude, this is bad. So puts us in the front seat of the vehicle. So I get in one vehicle, Jesse gets the other one. And I just sitting there like, he's just being normal as could be, talking to me. And we pull into a Burger King and he like orders some food. And I look at him and say, you gonna order some food for me? He goes, I ain't your fucking mom or your dad. Or he said something smart to me. And I'm like, you ain't gonna fucking feed me? I'm hungry. He says, nah, you don't deserve it.